Assalamu alaikum and good morning. This is Rise and Shine and I'm your host Muhammad Shiraz. Today we are joined by a very prestigious guest, Ambassador of Romania to Pakistan, Your Excellency Nikolai. Going straight to the Ambassador, welcome to the program and to Bahria University as well.
Thank you so much. Good morning in the first place, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm very honored, and I'm very interested to talk to you. This morning I had a meeting with the students. It was extremely exciting for me. I was a little bit nervous to speak to them. I was trying to find a common language to reach their minds, to reach their hearts. And I think now, in looking in retrospective, that I managed to some extent to be their interlocutor.
Well, it's always interesting and challenging to face the youth, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Your Excellency, I would start from the most important factor that is being discussed within Pakistan especially, and obviously in the region, and that is the China-Pakistan economic corridor. So in your opinion, in your view, how significant role it can play, especially for Pakistan as an economic engine, and definitely as a backbone for the economic integration in the region and obviously beyond the region. So your opinion on that?
Well, CPEC is a huge project, is a gigantic project, and my opinion is that it will help in the first place that interconnectivity in the region is a project that will have a great impact on the peoples, on the countries here, on the people's life here, even on the political environment and the security environment in the region, because it has a lot of consequences, and I should say positive consequences for the region. This is my opinion, and based on studying this project profoundly. And I think that again this will bring a lot of benefits for the countries in the region, not only for Pakistan but for the surrounding, for the neighbors of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, even India to a large extent, and countries in the region will have a very positive effects on their economies. And this project was called game changer by some analysts in the country. I wouldn't go that far, because this will have implications on the security and on the geostrategic situation in the region. And for the time being, I will refrain my discourse or indicate that this is a giga economic project which will positively affect everybody in the region, will increase the level of interconnectivity, will create a lot of jobs, will have an impact of GDP, will have an impact of the life of the people, and I commend this the idea of the project. As far as the European Union and Romania involvement in the project, I will say that we are interested to see and to analyze how we can fit into the project, how we can contribute, how we can participate in this project. I understand that for the time being, the project is at the initial stage, so we have to wait a little bit until everything will be finalized, and we will definitely, European Union and Romania, by that matter, will find some projects, some sub-projects, I should say, some subcontracts to fit in, and we will definitely participate in the project. It's a good project.
Okay, and another important thing that is the kind of economic and political integration which we have seen in Europe, and the kind of you can say borderless community which is created over there over the period of decades. Can you relate this project of One Road, One Belt, this economic activity in this region, can that lead to the same kind of political cohesion in the region as we see it in Europe today?
We are very proud that we are celebrating this year 10 years since Romania joined European Union, and that had an extremely important benefit, extremely important impact on Romania. Joining the European Union create a lot of opportunities for the country to develop from the economic point of view, to have a more political stability, and I mentioned in this context that for 3 years in a row we are the fastest growing economy in Europe. And the credit goes not only to the Romanian efforts to develop economy, but also to this participation in the European Union, this integration into European Union. We're not speaking about CPEC as the mobilizing factor for a political union. I think it's a little bit too premature to speak about the example of European Union as being the matrix of a union in this region in the same parameters as the European Union is. But we cannot exclude the possibility of economic growing, economic development, which would lead finally into a kind of political alliances and political
interdependence leading
exactly, economic independence, interconnectivity, not only economic dimension of interconnectivity, but also will have the people speak to each other in a much more open way when they have this high level of interconnectivity, and they will sit at the same table and they will speak about economic projects, but it's absolutely impossible that they will not touch political issues too. Right. So I think it's a good prerequisite, it's a good premises for developing a sort of, I'm sure that it's premature to say an organism or a union like European Union, but at least a better understanding of the countries in the region, and at least an improvement of the security situation in that in this region, which is unfortunately characterized by a complicated situation, at least from the security point of view.
Yeah, I'll come to the security later. The important thing which you mentioned about economy and the kind of progress Romania has shown within the European Union, what do you see that trade and economic ties between the two countries, Pakistan and Romania, what lessons are there for Pakistan to improve its economy to the level where it can stabilize itself as at the national level especially?
Well, as I said, I spoke with the young students this morning, and the same question was asked to me, and I explained them that the development of the economy is not coming by itself overnight. It's you need to have a lot of conditions, and foreign investment is one of them. Investment in a secure environment. And I'm not speaking about security itself, but the secure environment means financial security, means social security, labor security, human rights protection, and so on and so forth. And I mentioned to them, and I'm mentioning to you now, that one of the most important approach when it comes to the economic development is fighting against corruption. Corruption is the cancer that is rotting, it's killing the economy, it's killing the social life, it's killing the civilization. And we had a success story, one of the most success stories in Europe and in the world at large in fighting corruption. We established a national-wide body for fighting corruption. It was very efficient in fighting corruption wherever corruption was found. And I think that every country in the world that is trying to develop economically, socially, culturally, should put as a very high on the agenda fighting corruption.
Right. And now moving on to the security side, both Pakistan and Romania have taken special interest in defense industry. So how do you see, what do you see the future and further of this bilateral relationship, this bilateral defense cooperation?
As I said, security is an important issue in this region. It's a complicated region that generates every single day, that generates concerns about the possibility of escalation in the first place. And it should be addressed, this problem of security, in the first place in cooperation. Without cooperation, out of the cooperation, nothing can be done in terms of calming down the security and diminishing the security threats. Now, coming to the Romanian-Pakistani relationship in defense production, I think that we are on a right track. We are on a positive track in terms of developing cooperation in that field. We have been in constant contacts with the Pakistani high officials in the Minister of Defense Production. Visited Romania 4 times, and I've been meeting him in Islamabad several times, and we have very good projects in making now for developing the relations in in the defense production, in cooperation in different ways and different domains and fields of the defense production. I could not elaborate more about it because these are on the initial stage, right. But I'm very confident that there will be a very substantial and consistent cooperation between Romania and Pakistan in this field.
Your Excellency, we'll go for a short break now. So viewers, we will take a short break. The crux is basically maximizing cooperation and eliminating corruption. So join me on the other end. Welcome back, viewers. As you know that we are joined by our esteemed guest, Romanian Ambassador, Your Excellency. So let's go back to our guest and talk to him about another important issue, another important segment that is related to security and Pakistan's role in that, especially in the war on terror, because this war has made Pakistan suffer the most, and Pakistan has been the most resilient nation against terrorism, and it has gained a lot on the military side and now on the other side as well, the war of narratives. So coming back to you, sir, how do you see that, to what extent Pakistan has been able to successfully beat this menace of terrorism within its own country? And this related question obviously is why the West has not been able to acknowledge Pakistan's performance in this war on terror.
Let me put this way. When my foreign minister called me and proposed me to come as an ambassador in Pakistan, I didn't know a lot about this country. So I read articles, I read analysis, I consulted some friends who are more knowledgeable than I am in Pakistan affairs. And the picture was very gloomy, actually. But I said to myself that Pakistan is a very important country in the region, is a very important country in the world, so why not going there? When I arrived in Pakistan and I started my diplomatic activity here, I understand one thing for sure, that Pakistan is much, much better than it's described in some analysis, in some press, in some articles, and there is this deficit of perception of Pakistan, deficit of understanding Pakistan, a negative narrative going on wherever you go, and this should be addressed and this should be corrected. And I'm telling you that I put very high on my agenda to cooperate with our Pakistani friends in order to correct the deficit of perception and to present Pakistan as it is, a peace-loving country, a country, let me put in this way, a country that has a lot of problems, who doesn't? A country who is trying very hard to address the problems, to solve the problems in a very constructive way. And when it comes to fighting against terrorism, I think no country in the world can fight terrorism alone. The cooperation is the name of the game. The cooperation is extremely needed, is very important. And I know that Pakistan has been fighting very heavily against terrorism. Pakistani lost a lot. The toll of Pakistan in the fight against terrorism, I think, is the highest in the world. Yes. Is the highest in the world, and this I personally, and I think my government too, acknowledge that Pakistan has been fighting very hard in destroying this cancer of nowadays world, and on the other hand, I think that there are still problems to be addressed, not only the narrative, but also on the ground. And as I said before, cooperation should be the key issue in correcting this situation and in increasing the level of efficiency of fighting against terrorism. Cooperation with the neighboring countries, cooperation with the United States of America, cooperation with Europe, and I believe there is a strong will on every on the stakeholders in this matter, in this issue, to increase the level of cooperation. And this is the only solution for eliminating this terrorism as a cause of instability and insecurity in the region. But again, Pakistan has been having an important role in fighting terrorism, and this should be acknowledged.
And as you mentioned about cooperation, if we talk about the South Asian region, two countries come to mind, India and Pakistan, and the most important conflict that is the Kashmir issue between the two countries. So what role does the European Union has been playing and it can play in order to bring these two countries on a negotiating table or on cooperative terms in order to resolve this issue peacefully?
When I first came to Pakistan, I had, after talking to several people in Pakistan, officials, non-officials, with some diplomatic corps, I came to the wrong conclusion that the conflict between India and Pakistan is extremely difficult to be solved, almost unsolvable. But now, after 1 year of spending in Pakistan, I think that negotiations and talkings and sitting at the same table is the only key to resolve the situation. I heard opinions in Pakistan that Pakistan can never be friend with India, and well, I'm not exactly sure, because I do not agree with the term never. You never say never, because you never know what will be the geography and the political geography. I know that for the time being, Pakistan is a captive in a very complicated geopolitical environment here, and the room of maneuvering is a little bit limited. But you never know how the developments in the future will be. And the European Union, the United States, the European Union can play an important role in getting two countries together. Both countries are very important to the mankind. Both countries are very important for European Union in every aspect you can name. And we are very much interested, the European Union, my country, individually, very interested in seeing Pakistan and India sitting at the same table and solving out the problems you have. In Kashmir, we have the same opinion. I mean, a safe stand at the European Union. This should be addressed in negotiation, in peaceful negotiations, in constructing negotiations, in talkings. In no way should the violence or the voice of arms prevail in this conflict. I strongly believe that this matter can be solved in an amicable way.
Right. Now moving on to some non-security issues and more related to people rather than states. Between the two countries, Romania and Pakistan, the student exchange programs and the cultural exchange programs, how do you see what further can be done in order to make sure that these two nations become more closer in the upcoming years and decades?
After 1 year, I'm obsessively speaking about 1 year spent here, I realized that you have a very good education system. Your high education system is very good. You have a good teacher. You have good universities. You have university classified in the first 500 university in the world, which speaks by itself about the quality of the education in Pakistan. At the same time, I'm a little bit sad when I was speaking with people in Pakistan and understanding that there are problems with 30% of the children not having access to education. And I think this is the root. This should be addressed in the first place, because this is the very important aspect of the education of the primary school and the medium school and high school, and after that the university. So, but speaking about relations with Romania, we have now approximately 200 Pakistani students in Romania. They are very good students. They are very resilient. They are very hardworking students. They have good marks, good records, and I'm telling that they have very good job opportunities after graduating universities in Romania. People-to-people contact is absolutely necessary for making Pakistan better understood in Romania, for making Romania better understood in Pakistan. And this is, I have very high on my agenda to facilitate contacts between people, between students, businessmen, common people, tourists, and this will lead to the better understanding and also to the enhancing of the relations between Romania and Pakistan, which is my primary role here, actually.
One last question, Your Excellency. That is obviously, as you have mentioned, that the kind of transformation your country has gone through, and then the kind of achievements it has made over the period of time within the European Union. So, what are the lessons for this region, especially SAARC, and the role of Pakistan? What are the lessons for Pakistan to enhance its role in SAARC?
The lesson, it's the key word is cooperation. The key word is creating the framework for peaceful cooperation between countries in economic terms. And the key lesson is to increase the interconnectivity, and the key lesson is to encourage the people-to-people contact. And the key lesson is to speak to each other, to understand better the position, and not to just to become hostile against some position of any other countries, trying to understand first and after that take a stand. And we have, back in Europe, we at least in the middle of the last century, had a lot of problems with the Second World War. There were a lot of countries involved in the war, fighting each other, but the resentments created by the war or dropped out or dropped off in the process of cooperation. And now we can speak about the European Union, that is very united in political and economic terms. We have, of course, the Brexit, which is an accident, but I'm still confident, I'm still optimistic that this Brexit will lead to a kind of solution which will maintain Great Britain in the family of Europe.
Exactly. Thank you. But obviously the politics of identity, I would say, is at play. And another issue which is right now, which Europe is facing, is the Spain and Catalonian issue. I think hopefully it resolves in a cooperative manner. I would say that it was so enlightening to talk to you this morning, and the views which you have shared and the topics and issues you have touched upon, they have definitely added to my knowledge and the knowledge of my viewers as well. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, and God bless you and good luck, success in everything you are doing in the future.
Thank you. So viewers, the one line which I would extract from all this conversation with the Excellency, the Romanian ambassador, would be that even nature supports cooperation. So it's not the survival of the fittest, it is cooperation that wins at the end. I hope you have a good day. Allah Negeban.